out. We figured it out fast. It's a nice angle. Good enough for me. Good enough for you. Right?
So
Eat your goddamn beet chips, sir. Those are good.
today's podcast brought to you by
Beet chips and Starbucks coffee. Some hummus.
they make it taste weird together. Like the coffee after the beet chip
Oh,
makes the coffee taste burnt.
makes it burnt, eh?
I don't know why.
What does burnt coffee taste like?
Coffee, but then burnt.
Burnt it. Oh, burnt the coffee. I can picture tasting burnt food, but like burnt coffee, I don't know what that would. Like, is it more bitter? What are you talking about?
Yeah. It just I don't know. It's like coffee, but it's like when you burn toast. It's got that same flavor to it. It's not good.
Yeah. Oh, don't eat beet chips and coffee.
Why don't you drink coffee?
Never got into it. Liked my teas, my hot chocolates growing up. Those were kind of my go-tos as a kid.
Tea?
Preteen, you know.
You're drinking tea as a preteen?
No, maybe like hot chocolates and stuff. And I went from hot chocolates to, you know, teas. Maybe Just never been a big coffee guy. I don't know. Like it's like that idea that like I never allowed myself to like drink it because it smelled like shit. I'm like, I'm not gonna drink that.
Coffee?
Yeah. Like
Really?
I
Oh, see, I
I
even loved the smell of coffee when I was a kid.
Okay. So no, I never liked the smell. So
Okay.
like it never attracted me to it. So I never drank it. And then because I never drank it enough, or even like I didn't give it a shot like 2, 3, 4 times. But I am introducing espresso powder into my like protein balls, and I like that.
Oh, okay.
That's like and that smells kind of good.
Yeah.
When I smell it, I'm like, yeah, espresso.
Espresso.
Soak it in, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but like I don't know if I don't think I would like an espresso per se, but the powder's good.
You probably would. They're pretty good, man.
I don't know if those, especially the little shots.
Yeah, but
I've
it
had some
also
of those.
espresso also is like the base for a lot of different coffees, right?
Okay, well
espresso's
maybe
the
there's
base.
something. Like I don't like beer, but like at all. But then I've tried ciders. I'm like, oh, that's actually not bad. Like it's a point to the point where I'm not like fighting through it. I'm like,
Right.
alright, man, I could actually drink a cider.
Cider.
Or I could see myself sitting on a balcony or a
Cider
porch.
just tastes like juice to me.
So maybe that's why. It's like it's not a hard, bitter taste to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Never been a big coffee guy, but I'll take caffeine for sure. Caffeine pills.
Just straight up,
workout.
eh? Just fucking.
The pills.
I don't want my caffeine in liquid form.
No,
Just
pill form.
Fucking
Fast digesting.
tip the jar.
Take at least 10 before a workout.
Oh man,
No, don't.
my hand again, dude.
We told you. Alright, well, let's get into something here.
Okay.
Talking about your pain for last. You helped me with my pain today, by the way. My back pain.
Glad I can help.
Man of many trades. And as we just found out, man of knowing a lot about geography.
Yep.
What's your take on people not knowing about geography? Would you count that person as a dumb person?
Like you?
Yeah, I don't know a lot.
Is it-
I don't know a lot. Because I definitely think I'm in the somewhat intelligent boat.
Are you?
But about like
Are you
little-
asking me if you're dumb? Is that,
Man,
is
am
that
I
what's
retarded?
happening?
Am I clinically retarded? I don't know. You know, but like there's some people that just know shit about everything. Like I don't like the Jeopardy people and blow my mind. I'm like, how?
I think I'd be good at it. I'd be good on Jeopardy. I would, man.
Okay, then going on. How do you know that much about such a little thing? Like, you have to have some sort of programmed biological ability to remember facts.
I have very good long-term recall. My short-term memory is not my strong suit. Like, I mean, if you tell me, I'm not a fucking goldfish. If you tell me something, I can remember it in 10 minutes. But like, my long-term memory is quite good, I think. So no, but like my point being, like, I'll read a book or I'll hear a song and I'll remember the lyrics or remember the content of the book or remember when it came to geography today, for example, it's not like I study that shit. It's just like I've learned it throughout my lifetime and I can just recall it because I don't typically forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't do that. And there's just some.
I've traveled a lot too, right? That
Yeah.
helps. So like I've been to a lot of these places or near a lot of these places, so you learn about them. And then when I would travel places, like I would do my best to learn about the culture and the people there, and take something home with me rather than
Yeah,
like
see, I
we've
probably-
talked about it
I probably
before.
don't do
Where
that, like,
I'm not like
much.
I'm not a fucking like all inclusive vacation guy. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd go on one,
Yeah.
but I would much rather go somewhere where I can do my own thing and kind of see a city, see
Yeah.
a different culture, live in a city, live in a different culture for a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because to me that's more exhilarating. It's more exciting. Like, it's more exciting to immerse yourself in something different and learn a little bit about somewhere else. Because this world's a pretty vast place, and
It's vast.
there's some places that I've been to where after a few weeks there, it's like you don't want to leave because it's just so cool. It's so different from what you
Yeah.
experience on a daily basis.
It's a shock.
But yeah, I think that's all it is. I just, but like, there's a big difference of, like I go down to the States, like we go down to the States a few times a year, and I'm not knocking America. I love American people, but like, on average, and I know this is going to be a sweeping generalization,
I like those.
but I know quite a few Americans
People
who will
don't.
probably agree with this. Americans typically don't know shit about shit that happens beyond their own
Yeah,
borders.
yeah, I hear that.
They
a lot.
don't, man. It's like the fucking world stops
I remember.
on the East Coast and then the West Coast,
Yeah.
and it, like, like I can't tell you how many Americans that I have met throughout my travels in the States that genuinely don't even know where the fuck Canada is.
Yeah.
Like, they know it's close by, they know it's somewhere around the vicinity of America, but they don't. It's just because they don't give a fuck. It's not because they're not smart enough to know.
That's what I mean. That's
They
what I
just don't
find.
give a fuck, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, Canada's somewhere. Like, I think it's north, or I think like, but they don't know. Like, name a few states that border Canada.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, if they live in like Kentucky, they don't know, man. They don't know that we border Michigan and New York and we border Maine. Like, they have
Troy and all
no
that stuff, yeah.
like they have no idea.
Yeah.
They have no idea because it's like, that doesn't concern me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I remember I
and-
met a girl in Myrtle Beach, and cutie. She was a cutie for sure. And we started talking. I guess once we got back home, we were still talking a little bit. And yeah, she's like, "So, like, where are you from?" I'm like, "Toronto." She's like, "I don't know, like, what's Toronto?" And I'm like, "What?"
Well, this can't continue.
Not about like where's Toronto, like
Yeah, what's
like,
Toronto?
Like, you never heard of Toronto?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa! Like, she was 17 at the time.
I would have just lied.
I was much younger.
I just would have lied. I would have lied.
What?
I would have just lied and made up a story about what Toronto is.
Yeah. I think I probably fabricated like
Like,
igloos
it
and all
is
that shit.
it's a space station that's only inhabited by Native Americans, and all we eat are berries. That's it.
But
That's,
you're not Native American, Brandon.
but I am.
But I am.
What's a Native American? Like, but that's what I mean. Like, so if you're at, like that, if that's the question that you're kind of posing, like,
Yeah.
I think that's just sheer ignorance. I do.
So I'm ignorant.
No. But I think if you are like, if that kind of American philosophy of like, we are the center of the universe.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to offend America. I don't give a fuck if I do, but
Yeah.
I don't want. My
That's the
intention is.
attitude. That's the attitude.
No,
of the podcast.
I genuinely don't give a fuck if I
No,
offend
I
somebody,
just-
but like
But they'll probably admit it.
I'm not saying this with the intention of offending any American
Yeah.
people, because there are millions and millions upon millions of American people who are incredibly smart and who are incredibly educated and knowledgeable and are very open-minded people. But there's the vast majority of the country does not know anything about what happens outside its own borders. Like,
Yeah.
you go down to the States, like, the news is just literally like 24/7 of like the dumb shit that Trump is tweeting, or but there's nothing global, or it's like at the ticker on the bottom.
Yeah.
It'd be like, bomb kills 30 people in Bangladesh, but like, you're not, like, no one talks about it. Like, that's just the ticker going underneath, the fact that Trump had toilet paper on his fucking shoe stepping into an airplane. Like, it's just nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And like, and because of the coverage and the way
What
the
was Trump
media
doing in the
coverage
washroom?
is,
That's
fuck
the
no.
question now.
But like, it's like the country, it just feels like I've spent a great deal of time in the States throughout my life, and it's like, it feels more divided now than it ever has before. From my standpoint, as somebody who's not American, going down there and just listening, because I have no stock in
Yeah.
what side of the political line you're on in the States, and I'll talk to anybody. And no matter how batshit crazy their theories are, like, I'll sit there and listen just for sheer entertainment value for the most part. But like, it just seems like so divided. Like, have you ever come across anybody in Canada, like in your entire life? Have you been
Yeah.
like, have you ever met somebody who was like, "Fuck fuck him, he's a liberal. Like, that shit just doesn't happen in Canada. Like, you have intellectual conversations with somebody about it. You might disagree with their political standpoint or their views or whatever, but, like, I've never met anybody who would say, like, fuck that person, or I don't like that person, or I don't want my kids playing with that person's kids because they voted PC.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, that's fucking
weird.
crazy, man.
World, right?
Yeah. Like, it's so violently divided that it's bizarre. But I do think that if you are not willing to educate yourself on what occurs beyond your fucking immediate vicinity, then you're ignorant.
Yeah, well, here's my point of view on that. Like, I don't listen to the news at all because, like, it's basically all negative programming. Right? I'm not listening to the news. I'm not getting, like, there's a majority I'm just, like, hearing that's, like, making me feel worse about situations, making me kind of feel, like, on edge. Because, again, that's what the news does, man. That they're going to promote.
It's fucking fear-mongering, man.
Right? Like, they do, man. And, like, everyone's like, holy fuck, and they get scared, they get freaked out, and they're like, I'm not eating this, I'm not doing that. Like, and you hear about the murders there and the shootings there, and it's like, you don't feel better about yourself, and you don't really learn anything that's useful to me, you know? Like, other than the political sense, you know, like, you might hear a couple things, you're like, oh, this side of things is going on, and it's your own country, and you should have some understanding of what's going on and, you know, and what you want to change with your country, for sure.
Yeah.
But majority, man, is just bullshit to me. And I'm like, why would I get up? And I hear people that watch the news and they get, like, they're not having positive conversations. They're not, like, talking about how to, like, live a more optimal, self-fulfilling life. It's about the news. It's about that. So I'm like, where, what line should I watch the news and be, like, into politics, know what's going on? When realistically, it hasn't affected me in any realm. You know, like, I live in a happy, healthy, satisfying, fulfilling life by not engaging with those things. And those things aren't just in those moments, those 5-10 minutes you're watching the news. It's like the conversations afterwards. It might make you feel less productive, less motivated to get out and do something. Like, why not, if I took that 10 minutes and wasn't listening to news and I switched that over to listen to, say, a podcast on self-optimization, Jordan Peterson, Rogan, Jocko, and David Goggins, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm gonna go out for a run and fucking smash some hills for an hour, compared to listening to news and being like, oh, fuck, you hear about the shooting
world's
again?
Going to hell,
Like,
no, I get it.
People have to understand, like, that shit affects you. Like, there's a lot of connection going on between what you're seeing and what you're taking in your environment, the content that you're viewing, and how it fucks up your neurological, you know, understanding. I don't know, I think people should be a little bit more conscious of it, and if you feel like you're always watching the news and you're not being productive, be like, well, there's a consistent contingency with that. Maybe there's some sort of connection. That's not going to be the be-all, end-all, but it could be something. I know for me, like, I just don't allow myself, like I said, we were talking about earlier, I wake up in the morning and breakfast, I listen to something good. I listen to something productive that's going to get me driven, ambitious, focused on my goals. And I go out and do it. Like, I can't sit there and listen to the news and, like, it's going to demotivate me.
No, it is programming. Like, you're right, it's psychological programming. Whatever you put into your brain, it's like the food you put into your body, right? Like, that's the best way to kind of turn it into an analogy. It's the same thing. Like, if you are only... Now, I am not, and I will preface this by saying, I am not a believer that, you know, artists, for example, should be blamed for violent action because their lyrical content is violent or their movies are violent or something. I don't believe that listening to music makes you go out and hurt people. But having said that, you know, if all you watch on TV are crime shows, for example... That's going to fuck your head up after a little while. That's going to change the way you think. It's going to change, and for better or worse, I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just saying that, you know, you have to be aware that if you're watching just documentaries on fucking serial killers and all you watch on TV are criminal dramas or, you know, like, that affects your thinking. Those aren't, it's not going to promote any type of positive growth. It's sheer entertainment, but it also has an effect on the way that you think and the way that you see the world. And I truly believe that it can make you, I don't think it's going to make you violent if you're not violent or more aggressive, but I think it can darken your psychological landscape dramatically if you're not careful. So I think, that's why
there's a fine line between, like, knowing all about, you know, country and these small things where I'm like, I guess it's good to know what the fuck the capital of, you know, like Ontario is. Like, it's good, right? It's healthy to know that. The capital of Canada, all that fun stuff, right? Right? But at the end of the,
that was just grade 5.
But at the end of the day, all these things, like, we're talking about, like, other specific provinces and small cities and small, you know, state capitals and so that in the States. And it's like, yeah, it's cool to know that, but it's not really fucking helping me out. It's not doing anything other than being like, hey, look what I know. Or like, it's good that you're educated on it. Like it is. It's like, I'm impressed when I hear it. I'm like, hey man, I can appreciate when someone knows that. When you're doing that, I'm like, I appreciate that. Like, that's cool that he knows all that. Am I like, man, like I wish I fucking knew all that? I'm like, no, I don't care that much.
No, but you know what, like,
know?
it's, so when, I mean, I know the world map fairly well.
Yeah.
I can certainly tell you, you know, I'm not claiming I could point to every country and name it, but I could probably do a damn good job with it. And so to me, when I'm listening to a story or somebody's from another place, or I'm speaking to somebody, or even, you know, reading something in a book, I like to be able to have that visual image of where that is in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like, to me, it just kind of promotes my creative thinking process when I...
Which is nice. I like it.
And again, I've been to a lot of those places.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've traveled a lot. So, like, I've been to a lot of the corners of this world.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have a better understanding, I think, geographically than a lot of people do.
Sure.
But,
I get that.
yeah.
All right, we got a few minutes left, so let's talk about the American dream quickly. You know, because
Like chasing money?
yeah, because like I've had some conversations recently with some people about this, and
Yep.
it's always a funny debate and conversation to have, right? Because we all get that having a certain level of income is going to make life a little bit easier. Like,
Right.
you can't debate being like, well, I have $40,000 compared to making $80,000. Like, well, if you're smart with your money and you're intelligent of how you spend it and where you spend it, and how you invest it, like it's just gonna make your life easier. It's gonna reduce financial stress. It's gonna reduce personal stress. It's gonna allow you to get away, do things that you want to do on your own time. So like, there's that, and then you have other people that are like, man, I just want to make money. Like I want to be a millionaire. And you're like, okay, like, well, why do you want to be a millionaire? Like, is that getting in the way of other aspects of your life? You know, and then I think a lot of people don't ask the proper. And I used to be like that. I used to be like, hey man, I want to make a lot of money. I want to be super successful with business. You know, and I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. I was like, I just want to be a successful business guy, and I want to have a lot of money. And so like there's status and power, but then it comes to a point that you're chasing that, and it's rather unfulfilling because you're usually with that you neglect a lot of areas of your life that are important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just fascinating when I'm going back and forth and with people, and they're so hung up on making more and more and more. They're like, you don't understand. Like, I'm fucking happy doing that. And I'm like, I get right now you might be happy doing that, and they're like, you know, you can go out, you're like, well, I'll make a lot of money, I have to spend it, man. Like, I like my life, Brandon. I'm like, I get that, man. Like, right now, you could fucking like your life. I'm not saying change that. But be self-aware enough to know, like, this isn't going to last. You buying new shit and having a fun time and partying and having sex and doing all that shit with your girl can be fun for the next 4 years, 5 years. But there's going to come a point, man, when you're neglecting your body, you're neglecting your emotional state, you're neglecting your mental state, that you're going to be like, fuck, man, like, these things I should have rectified when I was able to, and I was healthy and stimulated and engaged and had more of, like, energy to actually make those things productive in the short term as well. Like, these things compound, man. It's a lot harder at 35 and 40 to get in shape than it is at 30, right? And it just keeps going. It's a lot harder or a lot easier to lose weight now than to lose weight 40 pounds heavier. You know, there's so many elements that are moving around on this subject that I'm like, I get you can say, like, right now you're having fun making money and doing that's all you care about. I get that. And you might say, well, Brandon, I'm happy now. But just take the time to think 5 years from now, what am I neglecting today that could affect me 3, 5, 10 years down the road? That's where I'm at.
I think the bigger question and the bigger tragedy often is, well, first of all, I think that success does not necessarily equal happiness, right? Just because you're successful at something does
I feel
not
like
mean you're gonna be
happiness
happy.
equals success.
Yeah.
You know?
There you go, bro.
Podcast over?
Mic drop. No, I success doesn't equal happiness, right? And I think that it's kind of like the old adage, right? Like where there was a saying when I was, because you know I play music, I also played high level sports. So there was a saying that I'd heard from both sides where it was every athlete wants to be a rock star and every rock star wants to be an athlete, right? And I think that goes like that. You know, you can apply that to every walk of life. And so if you dedicate all of your time and focus through your youngest, productive, most energetic years to making money, and I'm not saying that some people might be very happy doing that, but what I've seen many, many times is somebody who's so incredibly driven. I was having a conversation with somebody I won't name the name, but it was probably 8 months ago, right? And this guy was in his early 60s.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he has 3 adult kids, and he was telling me how much he regretted his years. Now, he was with a corporate giant. Like, the company that he worked for was one of the biggest companies in Canada. And he was on the fast track to, you know, success and promotion within that company. But he would work 6 days a week. He would oftentimes be up before his kids were. He would be in bed before his kids were, or he would be, home after his kids were in bed. And he very rarely ever made it to a soccer game, a baseball game, a hockey game. Basically, he was absent. He said, like, he would barely see his kids for 12, 15 years. Right? From the time the oldest one was born till the time the youngest one was like 7 or 8. And he finally got promoted to like this senior level position where he was making just a truckload of cash and was able to kind of adjust his schedule to be at home a little bit more, and that allowed him that freedom. But all those formative years that his children had, all those years where his children were literally growing up, and I don't even see my kids as much as I'd like to, but like to feel like you literally missed the entire childhood.
It's insane.
And then you look back after that 15 years and you're like, yep, I got a bank account to show for that. And that's something. Don't get me wrong. That's something. But if you look at it and you think, I've worked 6 days a week, I've worked my ass off, 12-hour days. Other than this, and I'm not taking anything away from the accomplishment, but other than this job, what do I have? Like, what do I have to show for this at this moment?
Yeah.
I got a job, I got a title, probably got a few more letters beside my name, but I miss my kids growing up. My wife hates me because I haven't been home for 15 years. I've lost contact with most of my friends because I've never had time to even go out for a beer, and this was before the days where you could, you know, contact them 15 goddamn different ways over your cell phone. But I haven't, you know, I haven't tried running a race. I haven't tried going fucking sailing. I haven't traveled to Europe with my family. Like, you've missed out on all of that.
Yeah. And even when you have those moments, say you do have those moments, you're so stressed about work and you're so stressed about being away. And I honestly think, man, if you're like someone who's like, man, I just want to make money, and you flaunt that success and like, I've made this much money in the last 5 months, you're a fucking loser for one, okay? Straight up. Yeah. And it's come from an insecure standpoint. Like, you're insecure.
Absolutely.
If this is a base of your achievement, of how much money I made, I'm like, bro. Like, that is so fucking weak, man. Weak-minded. It's like, I'm happy you made money, man. Like, do you? But if that's something that's something that promotes your happiness and that you tell people about, and that's just an insecurity at the end of the day, man. You
if that becomes, you know, if that becomes your defining characteristic, that's tragic.
Yeah, and people, and I talk to these people, man, and you listen to their story, man, and it's about other people in their family, other friends that are doing well, and they look down at them, so I need to fucking become this, and I need to do that, so I can fuck them. It's like, bro, you are missing the point of life, man. And that's a deep question, like, what's the meaning of life? But if that's what you're going for on other people, and you're comparing yourself, your situation to their situation, man, like, we got you, Jules. You're fucked. Like, that it's from a pure state of insecurity, man, that you gotta rectify, figure your life out, man, get back on a deeper internal level of self-satisfaction, man. Quit trying to have a big dick from everyone and say that I have this much money. It's like, bro, I don't care. You don't care, actually. You say you do, but you're going home fucking lonely and empty, and you're chasing something that's never gonna get there. So it's what the fuck's the point?
Yeah. I agree.
On to the next.
Bro tip? You got a bro tip?
What's a bro tip? Give one. Do you have one?
I hadn't thought of one, but every day can't be arm day, guys.
Yes, it can.
Unless you're Brandon Rinker.
I actually never do arms. Well, I do Tabata arms, but
Every day cannot be arm day. I was reading a recent poll where they polled women and they asked what they find most attractive on men. And they showed, like, you know, legs, butt, back, chest, arms, face, whatever. Arms, not very high, man. I think it was like second last.
What was the top?
Back was higher than arms. Back was up at the top. Like, women said they like a man with like a broad back.
Back.
Broad back. And legs. Legs were second or third. Man.
Yeah. Good.
Height was up there as well. Like, you had to be, like, as long as you weren't like 5'2", but. You're doing all right.
Have you seen the video of the barstool guy? Have you seen the video of the guy freaking out? He's like 5 feet, legit 5 feet. And he's in a restaurant, or he's getting like coffee or some shit. And he turns around. And he has his like huge Napoleon moment, right? He turns around and he's like, "Hey, lady, you think it's fair for people on the internet to call me fucking short and I'm 5 feet tall?" She's like, "No one said you're 5 feet tall here." And he's always had some shit in the past where someone's called him short, and that moment, whatever, it broke him, right? So he's just going off. He's like, "You're not my dad. You're not my boss. You can't tell me what to do."
But
you're
I
like,
could be, little guy.
You're like, "Holy shit, bro!" And now he's viral everywhere. It's fucking hilarious. So yeah, other than that, man, don't be 5'2" and
every day can't be leg day. Apparently, according to women, they like legs more than arms. So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Don't be a tree with no roots.
Groot.
Work your legs
We're done.
every day.
Let's get out of Dodge.
Where's this Barstool video? I gotta see
Oh
this
yeah,
shit.
man, it's fucking